I wonder what your thoughts are on intimacy in the broadest sense of what that means for us as individuals.
So the question is, what does intimacy in the broadest sense mean between two people?
Two people, or in a wider sense, between the intimacy of ourselves in relation to God or the sacred.
There's no intimacy when there's no relationship. And there's no real relationship between two entities, any two entities. So it means that if you're in relationship with somebody else who you see as separate from yourself, it's a temporal experience, it's something that takes place in space and time. And you have a certain familiarity, shall we say, or habitual behaviours that are pleasant or comfortable or sensual or comforting or pleasurable in a variety of ways. But from a sacred spiritual point of view, that's not intimacy. It's not even relationship on which intimacy would be based. Because real relationship is the erosion of any sense of separation between you and the apparent other. So we have two fields in a sense. So you have what's known as the ground of being, or the place of perfect peace, tranquility, truth, bliss, reality itself, from which nothing is changeable, nothing's going on, nothing's of any variance, there's no diversity whatsoever. Nothing's happening, there's no experience, there's no space, there's no time. That a human being can connect with inside themselves. When you get to that deep place, you feel content, you feel peaceful, you feel blissful. It's not that hard to find. It's hard to hold on to it. It's not that hard to just connect with the fragrance of it. What then happens out of the restlessness inside yourself is you start to create forms, you create thoughts and concepts and dramas and narratives, and these are all projected or transferred out. So what you're doing is, it comes from a rejection of yourself. You start pushing things away. And as you push these things away, as everybody seems to know these days, because it's so apparent in a practical way, I wake up in the morning, I'm in a bad mood, I stub my toe, I get into the car, I forgot my keys, I have to go back in, I'm getting increasingly irritated. And by the time I get into the office or the shop or the bank or wherever I'm going, I'm in a bad mood, and everybody reflects that back. That you say, well, you know, I met these angry people, they hooted at me, they were nasty to me. Conversely, you get up and you feel content and happy, you know, it's just mundane life. And in that you see that you create forms in the outer world, and you create these reactions in the apparent others who are in reality yourself. So real relationship isn't two, it's one. It's the breaking down of separation and division, and it all stems from the self-identification. So if everything in your life, as it is for most people, is based on I, me, mine, and all of this, then everything else seems to be the enemy or the dumping ground or the adversity or a source of conflict of some sort. Intimacy then, spiritually and sacredly, takes place in the merging of forms and then ultimately the dissipation of forms down into the ground of being, where everything is one in an eternal realm, and that's truth. The rest of it is temporary, adaptive, arising forms. They come, they go, they frustrate us, they give us pleasure, they give us fleeting pleasure. We attach to them for a while. You know, They're born, they subside, they die. So real intimacy is the understanding that there's only one thing that's always the same, that's always taking place, it never ends, and it is ourselves.